Welcome back to another episode of Play by Play presented by Win or Lose Sports. Visit us online at winorloseshow.com. Episode 45, I believe. 45. Uh, Today, this episode is going to be about the Ohio State Buckeyes. And earlier this season, before the season actually started, I kind of talked about Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes, the offense, and what they needed to do to get to the point to where they are at right now, which is in a prime position to win a national championship. But the most important thing is having this team ready to win against the Michigan Wolverines, the team up north. And earlier this season, I talked about how Ryan Day needed to have an offense that was producing and being able to overcome adversity and win games that they should win. And obviously they did that. Going 10-1, losing to number one Oregon 31-32. So only a one loss by 1 point to a number one team in the country, Oregon. And I think that says a lot about what Ryan Day kind of preached to this team in the offseason and during the preseason, and who he brought aboard to help make changes to the offense. Brian Kelly, being the offensive coordinator and then the play caller, makes a huge difference in how the Buckeyes look this year. Obviously, last year there was problems with Ryan Day, especially against Michigan. It's like he did not know it. This is what it seemed like. He did not know where to go next or what to do next after the offense reached a certain point, because they didn't have a quarterback like Will Howard who can throw the ball downfield. Of course, the addition of Jeremiah Smith, who's a phenomenal freshman, I'm sure is going to make a big impact in the NFL when he gets to that point. But also the addition of Judkins in the offense, and you still have Trayvon Henderson. So both of these guys, this is what's amazing about Ohio State offense this year, is that Judkins, who has I think 759 yards in rushing this year, and also Henderson, who has 730 yards. So both of these backs are basically sacrificing touches for wins. Because if Judkins would have stayed where he was, he probably got 30 to 40 touches a game. But that's not how you win football. And it not just winning football games, but it preserves his body for the pros. So now you got Henderson, who's ready, who's a senior this year, who's ready for the pros, who didn't wear out his body, but still with 700 plus yards this year, almost 1,000 yards. And Judkins, who's I think a junior, has one more year left. It was playing phenomenal. So this offense is hitting on all cylinders. Defensively looking the same. They look great on defense with Sawyer as the Jack Sawyer as the like the head guy on defense, and you got people around him. Well, C.J. Hicks around him that's making plays to get these Buckeyes ready and primed, not just to win a national championship, because that's obviously the ultimate goal, but also to beat the team up north. Losing to the Wolverines 3 years in a row has to make Ryan Day feel some type of way. I mean, obviously, it makes the Ohio State fans feel some type of way. So being able to get over that hump again this year will be great. And then go on to fight for the national championship. Now this year is obviously going to be a lot different from the national championship race over the last couple of years because of the new playoff, the 12-team playoff. So Ohio State being at number 2, not sure how they are working on this process of how to see the top 12 teams, but obviously the winner of the conference gets a bye. So Ohio State not only should look forward to uh, beating Michigan, but having to find a way to beat Oregon for the first time this year. Losing to them, obviously, a big impact in the standings, but still at number 2. So I think the second time around, if we do have to face them in order to get to that national championship, Ryan Day, Kelly will have this offense ready to play a great game, and it's just phenomenal to see how far the stark difference between last year's offense and this year's offense. And it is because of the offensive play calling. It is because of Jeremiah Smith, Judkins, and Will Howard. Those 3 guys adding to the juggernaut of the Ohio State offense plays a big part in how they win football games. I'm excited to see what happens next in the Buckeyes after they defeat the team up north. So we're not just talking about the Buckeyes today. We can talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who actually ended up winning against the Washington Commanders, who a lot of people had the Washington Commanders at winning the NFC East. Obviously, that is a argument that can be had because now Philadelphia is just hitting on all cylinders now with especially last week and with Barkley 255 rushing yards in the Philadelphia win. He had 270 plus runs in that game, which is amazing. But back to Dallas and Washington. Dallas looked like a better team than what they've looked in a long time. And I don't know if it's because Washington just had a bad game, or give credit to the Dallas defense and the Dallas special teams and the Dallas offense for producing that win. So talking about the Dallas special team, it's just amazing that talking about the Dallas special teams, it's just amazing that Turpin isn't getting more kickoff returns or punt returns than he is getting, because I think he's an amazing asset running the ball, and I think they should utilize him more in the offense because he's so effective. He's so fast. His agility and getting up and down the field is so it's amazing. So I just think that Mike McCarthy still being head coach, if he's still head coach by the end of this year or next year, needs to implement him, or whoever's the offensive coordinator or the head coach needs to implement Turpin into that offensive scheme. When you run those RPOs, those reverse RPOs or whatever, those reverse, put Turpin in that position because he can make those plays. And that'll alleviate having to put CeeDee Lamb in those positions where he can get hurt. Not that we don't care about Turpin getting hurt, but he's not doing as much as CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's on the field 90% of the offense. So you want to put Turpin in there, who's just doing mostly special teams, kick returns and punt returns, and some offensive plays. So if you implement him in the offense a little bit more, that'll give CeeDee Lamb a little bit of rest, not having that many touches, and just throw him the ball. Cooper Rush is playing a decent offense right now as quarterback. Can't say too much about him because he's Cooper Rush. He's a backup. How many looks does he get doing a regular season anyway? So he's not going to be as precise on his throws because he hasn't played as many snaps as Dak Prescott or any other quarterback in the league. Trey Lance got in the game against Washington. Not as effective, but he got in the game. So I think it's important, right? Especially right now. Not that we want to tank, but we want to give guys who are not getting as many looks, as many touches, as many snaps on the field, because these are the guys who we're going to utilize in the future. Why not give them time now? Give them time now so they will have the reps in when their time really comes, when it really matters, when we're trying to win games and trying to get back in the playoff race and trying to fight for the Super Bowl. If that time comes, if and when that time comes. I just think the Cowboys need to reevaluate what they're doing right now with the roster, with the coaching staff, with ownership, with management, with the Dak Prescott contract. Are they going to trade Dak and buy that contract? Are they going to draft Shedeur Sanders at the number 1, number 2 pick, or wherever that position when that position comes? Are they going to hire Deion Sanders as the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? What's going to happen? Because something needs to change. I don't believe that Mike McCarthy will be the head coach at the end of this year. I don't think the Cowboys could go another year as Mike McCarthy, with Mike McCarthy as the head coach. I just don't think that it's smart. I don't think that it's conducive to winning. I just don't think that he's the guy or the motivator to make this team go. His concepts on offense, and I say this all the time, they're elementary at best. I don't think he understands the nuances and the different ways that offensive teams now are doing things different from what they did in the 90s, in the early 2000s. And I think he's stuck in that mode. You don't see any, you see trick plays, and that's not a fancy offense. That's just trick plays. You don't see many different options when it comes to a Mike McCarthy offense. You can predict what goes on and what's going to happen, and that's sad to see, because the offense can only do, the players can only do what they're coached to do. Meaning that if the playbook says this is the plays that we run, these are the plays that we run. They can't make up a playbook in a huddle. They can't make up a playbook on the sideline. They can't make up a playbook in practice. They can only produce on the field what is put in front of them and by the coaches. So a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, something needs to happen to where the players, the talent that we have on the field can be utilized in the right way. It's just tough to see the Cowboys because they had so much potential on both ends of the ball. All three phases of the ball. We're talking about special teams, defense, and offense. Like, where do we go from here? Is Mike Zimmer the guy on defense? Because these are the same guys. I mean, I know they lost 9 starters between offense and defense. Most of them, some of them going to Washington with Dan Quinn, some of them getting released, and some just not signing or getting traded away. And we did not fulfill or fill in or replace those 9 positions with people who are better or equal to the players that we lost. And that played a big part in the failure of the Cowboys this year. Is Jerry Jones not looking at the plus and minus? Is he not looking at what we lost and what we should have gained in the offseason? Obviously, Jerry thinks he's the better man or the best man for the job, not knowing or not understanding what we lost needs to be replaced. Or not even that. It's just that what we did last year was not enough to win even a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers at home. So we need to get better than what we were last year, and not doing anything in the offseason didn't make that happen. Even in the trade deadline, though, nothing happened. We signed a receiver, Mingo, but that's not all we needed. We needed more than that. I know Derrick Henry is a big topic of what didn't happen over the summer and during the offseason, during free agency. And that's huge. Derrick Henry is probably having one of the best years of his career. Would he have had that in Dallas? We don't know, because now the offensive line doesn't look good at all. We have rookies like Guyton, who gets more penalties than he does anything else. We have Martin, who's getting older and slower. Got injuries. He's tired. He's beat up. Same thing with Smith. Tired, beat up. It's just so many different elements that play a part in a football team. You have 56 guys on that team. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be different situations to where guys can't play or having a bad game. You have to take that into, or just declining over the years. So you have to take those things into consideration as a GM, as a coach, to say, okay, what can we do to make this team better? What can we do to increase our chances of winning football games? What can we do to avoid these injuries or avoid the meltdowns, the fall downs, the what can we do to alleviate negativity, negative activity on our team? What can we do to alleviate these penalties? And that's all about discipline. We all know that. That's all about the coach preaching that in practice every single day. And if penalties happen, these are the consequences. And there's nothing wrong with having consequences for pro football players, because other teams do it. It's just that Mike McCarthy is not the guy to do it. A lot of people say, well, Deion Sanders, he can talk this way and motivate these college kids, but in the pro it's different. Yeah, it's different in the pro. but these are still players who are looking for something, some kind of guidance in their coach. If they can't get that from their coach, then it's all lost. It's a moot point. So I know I said I wasn't going to talk much about the Cowboys this year, but I mean after the last episode, but it's just I'm glad that they won. Because it's like, okay, they have the ability to win against teams that are better than them, quote unquote, better than them. So what can we do? How can we have the rest of our games besides Philadelphia are games that we should be able to win, that the Cowboys should be able to win. But do they want to win these games? Because this is still a chance that they can make the playoffs if they win these games, the rest of these games as a wild card. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to see if I can pull up the Cowboys' remaining schedule, and it's going to pull up everyone's schedule here. Yeah. So. But yeah, it's just where are we landing towards the end of the season? Are we shooting for the draft? Are we shooting for making it to the playoffs? A decision has to be made. I'm not looking for a team to tank or to purposely lose football games, but the Cowboys have to make a decision on where the future is, where we headed in the future. That's with the coaching, with the quarterback, with certain players on the team. Zach Martin getting old, might retire. Who knows? Where are we going to go in the draft? Who are we going to pick? So Jerry Jones has to. I mean, he's in a hot seat. I don't care if he's the owner or not. He's in the hot seat with the organization, with the fans. He has to make better decisions during the offseason, during the season, for this team to be successful. He has to make better decisions with his words, his wordplay, his word choices, because not everyone's going to take, because you're the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, you can say anything to anybody on the radio show. Like, they're not going to keep taking that. I don't care who you are. Make better decisions. You don't want people to like you because you don't care. You don't care because you're making your money anyway. Cowboys fans are so loyal. They're going to buy tickets and sell out the stadium no matter what, no matter how bad the team is, because that's how loyal Cowboys fans are. So at this point, you don't care who you upset. The players, the organization, the coaches, the fans. But it's going to come time or to a point to where a lot of people, fans, organization, the players are going to say, well, if you don't care, we don't care. If you give up on the team, we give up on the team. And it's going to be all bad. Now you're going to be out of money. But we don't want that. We want the Cowboys to be successful, but we want it to be done the right way. We want the players that are available, and you have the capital and the means to get them. Mike McCarthy, we want an offense that is going to be efficient. Not every offense is going to be perfect. Not every defense is going to be perfect. But we want something that looks like a professional, efficient offense, a playbook. Dak, we want you to go out there and play like you know how to play. You can play as an exceptional quarterback, as probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But then some days you're like out there playing lost. Like, what was Dak thinking? We don't know what he said. He don't even know what he was thinking. And the defense just needs to, they need to buckle up. Learn how to tackle. Take those hits on defense. Yes. Take those hits. You're going to get hit on defense. That's how you make plays. If you want to win football games, there has to be a sacrifice. And that's a sacrifice throughout the whole Cowboys organization from top to bottom. Jerry Jones has to sacrifice his pride and say, okay, I messed up. I need to bring in somebody else to help run this team. If you don't want to give it up, bring somebody to help. Mike McCarthy, you have to swallow your pride and say, okay, I need to bring in somebody to help run this offense because my offense absolutely sucks. And the guys on the field have to make sacrifices, especially on defense, to say, okay, we got to get better. We got to make these plays. We have to tackle the football player who has the ball. We have to make those tackles. On offense, you have to make plays. You have to sacrifice and make these plays. Dak, sometimes you may have to run the ball. You have to make that sacrifice and run the ball. So there's sacrifices that need to be made, top to bottom, with the Cowboys organization. I would say I look forward to see what happens, but hey, we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching this episode of Play by Play. Kind of melancholy, but that's just what it is with the Cowboys. I'm excited to see Ohio State Buckeyes, though, this weekend. Ohio State versus Michigan. That'll be a great game. I'm looking forward to see that. But thanks for watching this episode of Play by Play. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all social media at Win or Lose Show. And visit the website at winorloseshow.com. So we'll see you next time on Play by Play.